Let me tell you something that you may not hear often enough. If you're an older man, somewhere past your 40s or 50s, maybe even into your 60s or 70s, and you've ever felt unsure about whether you're still attractive, you're not alone. The world tends to focus on youth, fast looks, quick thrills, but there's a deep truth that too many men overlook. Many older men are far more attractive than they realize, and not just in a surface-level way. I'm talking about a kind of magnetism that runs deep, a presence that younger men simply can't imitate. What you carry with you isn't just in your face or your frame, it's in your story, your eyes, your voice, your steadiness. And today I want to share with you 7 clear signs that you're a good-looking older man, even if you don't always see it yourself. First, people listen when you speak, not just because of what you say, but because of how you say it. You've lived long enough to drop the noise. Your words are measured, thoughtful, often spoken with a calm that young men just don't have. Research from the University of California has shown that vocal depth and tone become more appealing with age, especially in men. The study, led by Dr. David Putz, found that men with lower, more grounded voices were rated as more attractive by women across age groups. Why? Because it signals maturity, stability, and confidence. When you speak with that natural authority, you may not even realize how magnetic that is. Women, especially younger ones, drawn to age gap relationships, find this incredibly appealing. It's not arrogance, it's experience, and they feel safe in your presence. Second, you carry yourself differently now. You don't rush into rooms anymore. You don't need to. You walk in knowing who you are. That self-possession is rare. A study published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin discovered that confidence and self-awareness ranked higher than looks in long-term attraction. And let me be very clear, that kind of confidence doesn't come in your 20s. It's earned through heartbreak, through wins and losses, through nights you couldn't sleep because the world was on your shoulders. And now, even if you don't say a word, that quiet assurance follows you like a shadow. Younger women notice it. People in general notice it. You may not catch their glances, but they're watching. Trust me. Third, you've likely stopped pretending. That, my friend, is unbelievably attractive. You're not trying to fit in anymore. You wear what feels good. You say what you mean. You don't chase trends. And that is rare. In a world addicted to filters and performance, authenticity is powerful. A 2020 Harvard study on long-term attraction showed that older individuals who were comfortable with themselves scored higher in desirability, regardless of conventional appearance. When you walk through life with that level of self-acceptance, it's visible, and it draws people in, especially those who are tired of surface-level games and want something deeper, steadier, and real. Fourth, your body tells a story. Maybe you've got some lines around your eyes. Maybe your shoulders carry the weight of years. But that story is beautiful. It's compelling. The idea that attractiveness is defined by youth is a modern illusion. Throughout history, in most cultures, older men were considered symbols of strength and wisdom. There's a reason artists painted them, leaders followed them, and younger partners sought them. It's not about a six-pack, it's about presence. And if you've taken even half-decent care of yourself, your body carries something few younger men have. Solidity, a grounding, a touch that is both gentle and sure. And yes, studies from the Kinsey Institute have shown that physical affection from older men tends to be more attentive and emotionally aware. That's not accidental. It comes from years of learning, from being present, not just physically, but emotionally. Fifth, people remember you. You might not notice it, but when you leave a room, your name lingers. There's something about you that stays. Maybe it's how you make others feel. Maybe it's the kindness in your voice or the way you listen without needing to interrupt. Maybe it's that you carry pain without wearing it on your sleeve. Whatever it is, it stays with people. And here's the deeper truth. That kind of lasting impression is what real attraction looks like. In studies on emotional resonance and attraction, such as one conducted by Stanford University, emotional memory and the ability to create meaningful conversations were more influential than physical features alone. You are more than what you look like. You are how you make people feel, and that is the rarest and most lasting kind of attractiveness. 6, younger women, particularly those in age gap relationships, are often drawn to older men not despite the age difference, but because of it. It's not about seeking a father figure, as pop psychology would have us believe. It's about maturity, clarity, direction. Women in their 20s and 30s are often looking for someone who knows who they are, someone who brings calm to their storm. And here you are. Maybe you've been through a divorce. Maybe you've had to rebuild your life. Maybe you've buried friends. You know what matters now. You know how short life is. That wisdom is not only valuable, it's incredibly attractive. There is a reason why, according to data from Pew Research, age gap marriages have steadily increased over the past 2 decades. These relationships often last longer and experience deeper emotional bonds, particularly when the older partner is emotionally secure and grounded. That might just be you. 7th, and perhaps most importantly, you've made peace with time. That shows on your face. That shows in your smile. When you stop fearing age, when you stop chasing youth, something beautiful happens. You become timeless. That's when people can't quite put their finger on what it is about you. They just know they want to be around you. You walk into a room with grace instead of haste. You make people feel seen, and you stop measuring your worth by how others rank you. That level of presence is rare. It's not taught, it's lived. I've sat across from hundreds of older men in my years as a doctor. Men who thought their best years were behind them. Men who hadn't been told in decades that they were attractive. Men whose posture sagged not from age, but from self-doubt. And I've told them what I'm telling you now. You have no idea how appealing you are. Not because you're trying to be, but because you've finally become real. You've shed the false layers. You've made mistakes and survived them. You've known loss and still choose love. That is a rare beauty. You are not invisible. Not to the people who matter. You are not past your prime. In fact, many would argue you're just arriving into it. It is not weakness to notice the way someone's eyes light up when you speak. It is not vanity to accept that your age has given you something youth cannot. It is strength, it is grace, and it is truth. If you ever doubted your worth, if you ever questioned whether you were still desirable, I hope you take this in. Attraction is not frozen in time. It grows, it deepens, it changes shape. And if you've walked through fire and still carry warmth in your heart, then you, my friend, are more than attractive. You are magnetic. So the next time someone smiles at you a second longer than necessary, the next time a younger woman seems drawn to your presence, the next time someone says they feel safe around you, don't brush it off. Don't call it luck or accident. Recognize it for what it is, a reflection of the man you've become, the man who no longer needs to prove anything, the man whose story is written not just on his face, but in every word, every laugh, every moment of stillness he brings to the world. You are not alone in feeling unseen, but you are not unseen. You are not fading. You are becoming. And the world needs more of that, more of you, whether you realize it yet or not. What if you've been more attractive than you ever realized? What if I told you that you've been more attractive than you ever realized? Not in a fleeting, surface-level way, not because of what's in your closet or the number on the scale, but because of who you are. What if the quiet strength you've carried through the years, the patience, the dignity, the way you listen more than you talk, the calm in your voice, what if all of that has been drawing people in all along, even when you weren't looking, even when you didn't believe it? It's easy to miss the signs. You get used to looking past yourself. You get caught up in the routine of life, paying bills, taking care of others, showing up for work, carrying responsibilities that nobody else can carry quite like you do. And over time, you begin to believe that your story's in the background. That attraction belongs to the young. That visibility is a season you've already passed through. But let me tell you something that is backed not just by experience, but by science. You are seen more than you know. You are remembered more than you think. You are attractive in ways that go far beyond skin and symmetry. In a study conducted by psychologist Dr. Kevin Niffen at Cornell University, participants were asked to rate people's attractiveness before and after learning more about their personalities. What the study found was simple but powerful. People who were rated as average in appearance were consistently rated as more attractive after being perceived as kind, confident, or competent. You may have never noticed the eyes that lit up when you spoke, or the way someone leaned in when you were sharing a story. But those things are not random. They are real signals of connection. People are drawn to authenticity, and over time, the kind of man you've become often holds a quiet gravity, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. Think about the times someone lingered in conversation with you longer than necessary, or the way a younger person asked for your advice. Think about how people trust you. That's not just respect. That is attraction too. We've been taught to separate the two, to believe that attractiveness is about surface appeal and respect is something else entirely. But the truth is they often live together. The more grounded you are in your identity, the more emotionally available you become, the more attractive you are, especially in the eyes of people who are tired of pretense and looking for something real. And here's something else that might surprise you. A growing number of studies are showing that older men are not only attractive, but increasingly desirable. According to a study published in the journal Evolutionary Psychology, many women across various age groups express strong interest in men who are older than themselves. The reason? Stability, emotional intelligence, maturity. These qualities are not only rare, they are deeply desired, especially in relationships where depth and connection matter more than fleeting excitement. Now let's talk about how you carry yourself. You may not think twice about the way you walk into a room. You may not even realize the impact of your presence. But the truth is, the way you carry your age tells a story. If you've lived through grief and still find ways to smile, if you've failed and tried again, if you've stood up for others, if you've walked away from things that weren't good for your soul, then you radiate a kind of wisdom that can't be taught, that draws people in ways that younger men, for all their energy, often cannot replicate. There's something powerful about a man who is no longer trying to be anyone else. You stopped chasing empty approval. You stopped needing to prove yourself in every room. That quiet self-assurance is not invisible. It is attractive. It tells the world that you know your worth. And studies confirm this too. A report published by the American Psychological Association found that self-perception had a direct impact on how others perceived an individual's attractiveness. People who carried themselves with quiet confidence were rated as more attractive, regardless of their physical features. Now you might be wondering why no one ever told you this before, why people don't say it outright. The truth is, sometimes the signs are subtle. A lingering glance, a hand that touches your shoulder in conversation, a compliment that feels a little deeper than just words. And sometimes people assume you already know, because to them, it's obvious. They see you showing up strong, wise, present, and they assume you see it too. But I know that many of you don't. I've sat across from men who've built lives, held families together, survived deep losses, and still doubt whether they are seen at all. I've heard their silence, and I want to break it. You have been more attractive than you ever realized. Your kindness, your sense of humor, the way you respond instead of react, the way you stay calm when others panic. That is rare, and that is beautiful. It might not always show up in loud applause, but it is felt, it is remembered, and it makes a difference. There is something sacred about aging with grace, about carrying your years without shame, about allowing your story to show up in your eyes. And when you stop fighting time, when you stop hiding the gray in your beard, when you embrace the lines on your face as maps of a life truly lived, that's when your real attractiveness shines. Not manufactured, not marketed, but real, deep, human. So what would happen if you started believing it? If you looked in the mirror and saw not what you've lost, but everything you've gained? If you started walking through life knowing you've always had something people admire, even if they never put it into words? That shift in perspective could change everything, not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Because the truth is, the moment you stop waiting for the world to validate you and begin owning your presence, your attractiveness multiplies. This isn't about ego, it's about truth. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that have been dismissed or overlooked. It's about finally hearing what the world has been whispering to you for years. that you are valuable, that you are deeply attractive, that you are seen. So take a breath. Think back on your life. Think about the quiet compliments, the unspoken admiration, the respect you've earned, the eyes that lit up when you walked into the room. Those were not flukes. They were signals. And if you're willing to see them now, to believe them now, then this season of your life can become the most powerful one yet. Because the truth is, you've been more attractive than you ever realized, and the world is better for having you in it.